I just got a Ruger American in 450 Bushmaster. I had two to pick from, and one had the Magnaport style muzzle brake where it had the holes that swirled all around the muzzle brake, and it was a smaller diameter muzzle brake. I like this one because it's cool. That's the only reason I like it. When I first took it out of the box, this bottom plate slid right off, just like that. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, there's a little tab right here, right there. And I don't know if that is supposed to flip up or what the deal is, but it does not move. Anyway, I'm just going to super glue the stupid thing. I'm going to go buy an extra mag. An extra mag is like, I think it's 30 bucks. And I know where they got a couple hanging on the shelf, so I'll get one of those. Another thing that I'm kind of frustrated with is the muzzle brake is not lined up with the barrel. See how I'm holding the gun level and the brake is like cocked off to the left. I don't know if it matters or not. Well, I'll find out. But other than that, I mean, I know what to expect from the stock. It is what it is. I am going to fill that webbing in here, make that solid. I'm going to leave enough space so that the barrel can still be free floating, full floated all the way back to where the blocks are, where the action beds into the stock. All my rifles, my Savages, my Browning, trying to think of what else. But anyway, they all have free floating barrels, and I've made sure of that when I get them, and that's the way to go. I'm not going to try and bed the barrel to this stock, because this stock will still have some give in it. But yeah, it functions pretty good. I haven't shot it yet. I got a mount of scope. I went and got some steel rings last night, 22 bucks. And I got my ring tool to make sure that they're square. I got my blue Loctite. I've got an old scope here. This was on both of my 300 mags. And this Bushmaster scope was one of the old ones that came out the year before they produced the BDC reticle. So this has got a duplex crosshair in it. I've seen people shoot these things out to 300 yards. That's not me. I don't care for that. And where I hunt, I don't know if I could shoot 300 yards because there's so many trees in the way. I didn't even know if I could shoot 200 because there's so many trees. About 100, 120 is maximum. So I do think the duplex would work. This scope is ginormous for this little gun. And it's got millet rings on it right now. I wanted rings that attached from one side so that it would be square to the barrel. At least it's supposed to be. With these millets, if you don't tighten these right, you can get your scope to go like this. And at short range, it might be okay, but the longer range you go, it's going to start messing with you. This one is 4.5 to 14 magnification. It's got the adjustable objective lens. You know, a lot of them now you see the turret on the other side to adjust your parallax, but I mean this thing here, I hardly ever moved it. I think one time I turned it up to 300 when I was shooting 300 yards with my 300 mag, but yeah, I don't have to move it. I gotta get different. I want to get some flip up caps for it, like I got on my Browning and my muzzle loader, but it's all I got. It'll work. I paid $280 for this back in the day at Shields, and I wonder if the quality has gone down, because you can buy these now, this same scope. Like I said, I don't know about the quality, but you can buy that same scope for $150 now. But we'll get her installed. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to contact Ruger about that magazine, because when I hold that gun, I did it last night, when I hold that gun and I accidentally grab it here and pull it to my shoulder, this bottom plate comes off. That shouldn't move. I would love to put a Boyd stock on this, but I spent 10, 11 hours in the rain the first day this season, and that's what plastic stock's for. Handle the weather. Rain, 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 rain. I might have my brother-in-law Cerakote this, if I can get the stock to do what I want it to do. The bolt on this thing is not all that pretty. I mean, pretty. Really? I don't care, but I do care enough to comment on it. Don't expect too much. I can see all the machining marks up in here. There was a burr in there, and there's a scar clear down the bolt when it goes in and out. Another thing I'm wondering about is all this slop. You Ruger guys, I need to know, is this normal or what? There's nothing like that on my Browning. My Savages had some, but they had a lot more control. But then again, you know, it's a $400 rifle. It's an entry level 450 Bushmaster. As long as the thing shoots good and I can get that stock straightened up and probably glue this stupid plate on, because honestly there's not much to clean in here. You can press the follower down and clean the grooves in here if you have to, but everything is plastic except for the spring. There's no, just take an air compressor and blow the stupid thing out. I'm not worried about replacing the spring or the follower, because I imagine that you better off just going and buying a new magazine, because it's only $30. I can't imagine what they'd charge for that goofy spring. Oh, one more thing that's got me a little wound up. That magazine is held in by, if I can get you some light here, there's a tiny little square groove right there below the bolt in the tan plastic stock. Wish I had something to point at it. But anyway, hopefully that doesn't wear down. I'm not big on changing magazines and stuff. I'm not a tactical guy. This gun is not tactical. I definitely am not tactical. I hunt to hunt and to harvest an animal. I'm not out there to be Rambo. No need. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good caliber. I think it'll be a good gun. Forgot to introduce my helper today. How you doing, Pixie? Hmm? Are you good? We're going to put on another scope, aren't we? Hmm? Need a blanket? It's chilly in here, isn't it? I'll get you one, okay? Yeah. You gonna take a nap? Or are you gonna watch? Hmm? Alright, here's the plan. Use some regular super glue. I'm gonna take and put a dot here inside and a dot across from there inside, maybe one in the front. I don't want to get it anywhere near these grooves that run up and down inside the magazine well here, because these little tabs are all plastic, and if this stuff bleeds down and gets in there and locks my follower, I'll probably ruin it trying to move it again, because those are just little tiny little plastic tabs. So go easy with the super glue if you're going to do what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. There's slop in between the bottom of these, where this stop is, and the grooves. They're not the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the rear one all the way back against the stop, and then the front one over here, I got to push it this way all the way against the stop. That way when I tighten my scope down, it's not going to move side to side. Okay, so I got the bottom half of the rings mounted to the rail here, and I put the ugly side away from the bolt. This gun has a 70-degree bolt throw, so I'm clearing everything here. We're good there. When I say the ugly side, this is what I mean, the side with the screw. But it's just way better than that great big nut with a screwdriver slot in it. I like these better. But I also want to show you what I always do is I have an aluminum tube, and I have it's mic'd out at 1 inch exactly. And I always lay that in there. And before I tighten these down, I will take and I will hold this ring tight against the gun. And what that does is that helps keep these square and keep them in line with each other. And then what you can do is you can slowly rotate this in here, and you will see where your high spots are on your rings. I had one here and I had one here. See how it's shiny? So then what you do, what I do, is I take a very fine, like a 600 grit paper, and I'll wrap it around this, just the thickness of one, and I'll rotate it, rotate it, rotate it, rotate it, until I start to see that this here and this here are pretty much flat, pretty much even. So I'm starting to get some rub here, which is good. I had a lot of rub here. So that big silver mark there. Right there. That means that this ring is like this. But it's flat against everything. I can't get it any flatter. It won't do it. Same with this one. So if it was for me tightening the screw on the back side, both rings would have this wear mark on the same edge because they both would be torqued the same way. Okay? But this one's got it here and this one's got it up here. So it's not from tightening that screw. It's just the way that these are made, or it's the rail itself. So once you do that, then you can put the top half of the ring on, put that 1-inch pipe in here again, slowly rotate it, and then what you'll see, you'll have the same kind of marks on your ring cap, the top half of your ring. And you just want to make sure that you're getting grip clear across it. Don't remove so much material that when you put the scope in, it doesn't stay still. That would not be good. But you don't want to crush the scope. And this scope here, this will be its 3rd or 4th rifle. And it's not crushed, but you can see where the paint has sort of come off the bottom edge. And this thing's lived through a lot of recoil, and it stays dead on. I love this scope. I just wish it had a different reticle. Wonder if I can get a turret for this, for a 450. That'd be awesome. I'm gonna ask Nikon. Well, did you learn a lot today? No, because you were sleeping most of the time. That's alright. It's pretty boring if you're not doing it. Well, there she is. Scope's on. Got about 3.5 inches of eye relief, which is what the scope is spec'd out at. Everything's snug. It's square. It's level. The eyepiece is adjusted. Crosshairs are nice and crisp. Just wait for that Loctite setup. I got just enough in there that you can see it coming out the bottom of the hole, which means the top edge of the screw is Loctited. I put a dab inside the threads of the bottom half of the ring, and then when you put that screw in, I put some on the screw too, but when you put that screw in, it pushes it out the bottom, so that locks that bottom edge. But yeah, it'll work. I think the gun weighs twice as much as what it did now. On the magazine, I put a dab and a dab where I said I was gonna, and then I put a dab in the middle of this crack here, and it migrated clear to both sides. The important thing is this thing still goes up and down. So I'm good there. I think I'm just going to leave it be. It's not worth hassling a company to do something you can fix yourself. Like I said, the only thing in there is the spring and the plastic follower. I'm not really worried about cleaning it. I mean, I will clean it, but I'm not worried about taking it apart. The thing will probably be broken before it actually needs service. I'm not going to be out playing in the sand or laying in the dirt. I'm going to be sitting in a tree. Though I am going to try and get a coyote with this thing just to see what happens. I know what's going to happen. Yeah, and then I'm going to figure something out on this. This is driving me nuts because it's twisted. It's too far that way. It's like they threaded this too much, or when they put the barrel onto the action, yeah, I don't know. It's driving me insane though. But I like it. Look at that. That thing is just massive. I wonder if they make a bigger one. Alright, well, that's it. Maybe we'll get some video of me shooting it in another video, but that's what it is. Like I said, I'm going to get some epoxy, fill all that webbing inside that stock. I got to take a piece of paper, make sure that barrel is floated, though it does not have far to go before it touches the barrel, so I'm going to take my Dremel and round this out a little bit. And yeah, we'll go from there. And in case you guys are wondering, the pistol bore snake works fantastic in that rifle. It's got a long enough lead on it that it's just no problem. It's the perfect size. I can get it out of here with one hand. And I bought this because I was worried about a lot of pistol ones have a really short lead on them. This lead is long enough that you'll have at least probably 4 or 5 inches of that thing sticking out of the end of the barrel, that end, before you start pulling this into the chamber and into the bore. And it's got 2 brushes on it. I have a bore snake for every caliber that I have, and I tell you what, if you're out shooting a session at the range, you want to hurry up and clean your barrel, you don't want to bring a cleaning kit and a rod and all that garbage, these bore snakes are the I almost cussed. They are the solution to that, let's put it that way. But yeah, they work awesome. I ran this through that gun when I got it. I looked through both barrels, both brand new ones in the box, and the barrels are dirty. So they must test fire them before they leave the factory, which makes common sense, you know. And one passed through, and that thing was just as shiny as could be inside. So, but yeah. A pistol one will work